going on? It's your boy Cass. Welcome back to another episode on The One Podcast. And today we have a special guest in the building. And today is actually our first female guest on the podcast. Today we have Aura. Welcome, Aura. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Cass.
For the people who don't know Aura, who is Aura?
I am Aura, the real life angel, the doll, the princess. And I say I'm the real life angel because sometimes you get the real life, sometimes you get the angel, and sometimes you get a little bit of Scorpio, and she crazy, so I don't know what you
So you're a Scorpio?
Yep, Scorpio.
When's your birthday?
November 3rd.
You just had a birthday?
Yep.
Happy belated.
Thank you,
How
thank
old you turn?
I'm 22.
22-year-old. So like, for the people who don't know you, like as far as your upbringing, like where you grew up at, like where you grew up.
So I didn't really grow up in one place. So like when people ask me where I'm from or something, it's kind of hard for me to answer because my parents had me in college. So they went to UNC Chapel Hill, go Heels.
Okay, shout out to the Heels.
Yep, the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. And I was born there. So when I was 1, my mom started grad school. So we moved to Buffalo, New York. And I kind of grew up there a little bit. I just remember being there for like up till 1st and 2nd grade, and then I came down to Columbia, South Carolina. Okay. And so I kind of grew up there 3rd grade until I was about 16, and then I went to governor's school in Hartsville, South Carolina. Okay. And then I kind of lived there because it was a residential high school, and it was the governor's school for math and science. So it was like.
It's one of those private type schools. Like,
yeah,
you have to be a smart kid. So you seem like you were smart. You was a smart child. Like,
yeah, I was a nerd. I was definitely a nerd. I actually ended up back in Chapel Hill after governor's school, like going to college, and I got a bachelor's in computer science. So now I'm a software engineer.
Congratulations!
So thank you.
Congratulations.
But so I've just been bouncing around, moving around my whole life. So I didn't really grow up in one place, but I like to think of like I've kind of come from like all of those places technically. But
mainly like your most of it is in South Carolina.
Yeah, mostly South Carolina.
But so you remember the other places as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I like saying that I'm just like from South Carolina, or just like I'm not really from anywhere, but mainly South Carolina. That's where most of my life has been, and that's where I've grown the most and like have most of my memories. So.
Gotcha. Now for me, like growing up back in the islands, like we go to school a little bit early, and not only that, but we have 5 years of high school. I know you mentioned that you was like a nerd, but I was in high school at 11, right? And sometimes, with my friends, it's like some of my friends, did you ever feel like sometimes you're like maybe, too smart for your friends, or you ever felt like you had to like dumb it down, or because you said like you was a nerd as if it was a bad thing, right? Because most people look at nerds as a bad thing, but there's nothing wrong with being smart. And for me, growing up, like I wanted to be hard. I was everybody looked at me as a pretty boy, and I was smart. So for me, like that shit wasn't gonna work, So I always had to be out here. I was always fighting a lot. I proved myself, but I was fighting a lot, and I never really wanted that smart guy type. People knew I was smart, but I never wanted that smart guy title. But nothing wrong with being smart. So like, what was that like as far as you and your friends? Did you have a lot of friends that were they smart as you, or were the people around you not as up to par?
Yeah, I think as like a smart black person, like sometimes we have to kind of learn how to have like a few different types of friend groups. So like in high school, I was in a lot of honors classes. I was in AP Stats, so I had friends that were in marching band, or that were Hispanic or white or Asian or black sometimes, but not a lot of the time, because like a lot of high schools, a lot of the black people tend to not be in like the higher level classes. So I was kind of excluded from a lot of the time that I could have taken to like make friendships with like my black friends or whatever, and those are the people that would have been like really like hanging out with me and stuff, like so that I could really like see their personalities and like actually like be able to compare like intelligence, which I wouldn't say that I would be doing, but like I just didn't really end up having a lot of friends, but I had like a lot of acquaintances, and then like those came in like different groups. So I like did musicals, so I had like theater friends, I had like my class friends who were like the smarter people, and then I had like some like of my black friends from like elementary school or middle school or and things like that kind of like knew me or like knew me from drama and stuff like that.
So you like drama and you sing, right? And as far as like music, like how long you been singing and why music?
So I think for as long as I can remember, music has been in my household because my dad actually was a like rapper for this company or like I guess program called Project Truth, and that was
shout out
like,
to Project Truth. What's your dad's name?
I don't want to like bring my family. I don't want to say my family name or anything.
I was gonna give him a shout out, but shout out to
my dad. If he sees, he doesn't really listen to my music like that. So, but he used to rap for Project Truth, and they kind of had a musical program that made music to kind of encourage kids and like youth to like abstain from sex and stuff and like don't do drugs and you know like things like that. It was like a really positive like.
You know how many parades we went on? Just say no.
Yeah, exactly. I know that one of my favorite songs when I was like in elementary school in Buffalo was like when you look at me, what do you see? I'm a drug-free me. Then that used to be my favorite little song. So like that's what I grew up on. So like I grew up on like watching my dad do that and like having like a kind of rap career and still raising me. And,
so what type of music like you grew up listening to like in the house?
I listened to like Kanye West with my dad, Keisha Cole with my mom. Keisha Cole like The Way It Is album, Keisha Cole. I listened to a lot of like Chris Brown when he was first coming out. And those are the ones that I can remember. My mom used to burn CDs, like just get all her favorite songs and like put them on CDs.
That's
so I was
way back in the day.
So it was a whole mixture. I was listening to Robin Thicke. Man, I was over here thinking Robin Thicke was black, and then my mom was like, "No, that's a white man." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Man." Yeah, shout out Robin Thicke. That man got some soul in his voice.
Yeah, but he a little touchy feely too.
Yeah, I heard about that actually.
Yeah. So.
Actually, I forgot about that. So take that back. No, for real, because I'm definitely an advocate for people that are victims of sexual assault and sexual harassment and stuff, and I feel like that's like very important for me to like set straight. Like that's
why is that such a big thing to you? Have you ever had a situation where you felt that way, or?
I've had a couple situations where I was actually a victim of such violence, so I don't like when people get away with things like that, and like sexual assault. And I don't like seeing people get away with that because the people that hurt me got away with it, and I can't really like talk about that and stuff. But that's what I was referring to like in my song COVID Cinderella, and I say like I'm pretty much like singing that I don't want people in my face like after I like was done with COVID and I felt really lonely and nobody was talking to me and stuff, and I didn't feel like I had like a lot of friends checking on me or like a lot of family checking on me, and like I was like, I don't want y'all in my face. All I want is my grandma's cheesecake and my kitty cat ate and justice for my old rape case, and that's like all I.
So you was raped.
All I want. I'd rather just not talk about it, but yeah. So that's why I'm like a really big advocate. Like I volunteered at the Orange County Rape Crisis Center when I was going to Chapel Hill and stuff, and you know, it's just really important to me to like really be a voice for people that don't really have a voice and can't really like speak for themselves or share their like stories. So that's actually one of the reasons I started like doing music, so that I could express myself and like be vulnerable in a beautiful way, and like let people know that they're not alone, and like that there's somebody that's rooting for you, and you don't have to go through things alone. Like even if you feel like somebody like got away with something or like took advantage of you, there's still like somebody in your corner. Even if I don't know you, like I'm here for you, you know. So that's like
a fact. And that's what it's about on the One Podcast, because everybody has a story, and if your story can help one person, then it was worth it.
Yeah,
and exactly. I understand that you did not want to go, you can't go into, you don't want to talk about it. I respect that, but I want to let you know as well, you're a very strong person. And, you know, that happened to you for a reason. I'm not saying that it's as crazy as it sounds, right? You might probably think like, damn, like that was the most terrifying, horrific thing you had to go through as a person, and for them to get away with it, it's like you want to kill something. I understand that. But as far as like who you are today, like sometimes you just have to embrace it. So for someone who pretty much been through what you've been through, and like is actually going through it right now, because I'm pretty sure, like I say, it's a lot of women that's been through that and is going through that. Like, what are some of the things that helped you go through it? Maybe they're on their own. Maybe they're all alone right now. You know, maybe their support system is low right now, and maybe they feel like they ain't have nobody to talk to. Like, and maybe they don't do music. But what are some of the things that you did that helped you get through it? And maybe you're still going through it. Maybe it's a day-to-day fight. And maybe, but what are some things that are helping you go through that? And just, you know, I know with time everything's, you know, it heals and eventually. But like, what are some of the things you would share to help somebody else? You know.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that really like started my healing journey was understanding that, you know, when you got God on your side, like me personally as a spiritual person, like I like to believe that God is on my side, and like whoever like did anything to harm me and had ill intentions towards me when I was just, you know, trying to like live in God's purpose for my life. God don't like ugly, and God doesn't like when people come for his people. So I don't have to worry about trying to like waste my energy on like hatred and like going against them and trying to get back at them, when God, that's like.
No, I ain't gonna lie though. I'm the type of motherfucker now. I'm a go ahead.
I mean it that came after a whole bunch of stuff though, because I mean, like, you know, like things happened to me like when I was about to graduate from high school and like my freshman year of college, and you know, I was just focused on like trying to live my own life. I wasn't focused on like my trauma and putting energy into my trauma. Like I was putting energy into school and stuff. And like I said, I graduated with a bachelor's in computer science. I graduated in 3 years, like a year early, so that and then I had a full-time job, like being a full-time software engineer after that. So I was focused on that and making sure that I was like reaching my own goals. I wasn't worried about something that somebody did to me. But by the time I did have time to like breathe and not just be like focusing on school, like my whole life was school, like, you know, because I was like, I just want to have enough money to be comfortable and to be able to like live my life and not be like doing school stuff. And by the time I was like graduating and had time to like really reflect and like think about things and like really like want to share my story to like warn other people and like, you know, be an advocate for other people, I shared my story, and then I was threatened to be sued and everything because the person, one of the other people, I don't even know who it was because there's a whole bunch of like people are holding information, but you know, the other person that I did know, like who it was, they had gotten so much power that they had other people on their side. They had enough money to buy off cops probably and shut up people and have lawyers threaten to sue me and my family and anybody that like circulated my story and everything. So I had to take everything down, and I had to
all that, man. We're gonna talk about this shit.
And like,
so who that? Where they at? That person's from South Carolina.
So I just I had to like think about how I was gonna move forward when the justice system was against me and that person like had enough power to like.
Was it a white person?
I just can't really say any details about
That-
it,
yeah.
but because I want to like protect myself and everybody else in the situation. But it was just I had to like really think about what justice meant to me, because at first like I didn't want to go to the police anyway, because I knew that that was going to be how it was going to end, because the police haven't really been on my side and they're not on a lot of black females, and I say female like black women, black trans women, black men.
You're not
who
a trans, right?
identify as
you're a
women,
woman, right?
and I'm a cisgender I'm a cisgender bisexual woman, and my pronouns are she, her, hers, because I like to be inclusive and like really understand like where everybody's coming from, and like really you have to understand that like sexuality and preference and like who
So
you
you're like
are,
boys
like
and
that's
girls.
like a
Yeah, I got you.
it's a spectrum. So yeah, but going back to what I was saying, I had to like think about like what justice really meant to me, and like I found comfort in not thinking about how I was gonna get back at him and how I was gonna find him and you know get like ruin his future. I had to think about my own future and think about how I was gonna get closure. Because because I didn't want to go to the police, because usually the police don't really protect like minority females.
How old were you when that happened?
So I was 17, and
tough.
you know I didn't want to do that anyway, so that just really taught me that you have to like really know like what closure means for you. And I really started getting closure when I was like, okay, I know that God isn't gonna just let them get away with it. And I tried my best, you know, and I tried to make my voice heard. I tried to be able to warn other people. I really, like, from the goodness of my heart, like, put my time and energy into doing that. And I even, like, tried to lead an initiative to start improving sexual assault policies at UNC Chapel Hill, like, whenever I had graduated and everything.
So that happened on campus?
I can't really talk about details of anything, but
I feel you.
it just it was something that I had to be like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Like, I know that I can't trust it on my own understanding or my own like strength and energy to like get justice for it or go out and like punish whoever was involved, but I had to trust that God is gonna like, you know, handle the situation in his own way, and I have to do my own thing and move on with the understanding that the only power that I have in the situation is like what I'm gonna do with myself and how I'm gonna feel full again when somebody like takes pieces of you like that and then gets people to think that you're lying about it and like manipulates people to like put themselves in a place of power. Like, it's a bad place to feel like you have no power and who has access to your body, and a lot of people have to feel like that, and that's not right. And unfortunately you have to like take that power back, like mentally, not a lot of the time physically.
Look, you said we gotta take that power back, right? But taking that power back is not just letting that shit go. Taking that power back is speaking on that shit.
Yeah,
you know, so I feel like at the end of the day, I respect that you don't want to, you know, speak on the person because of your personal life or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, it's the same thing as what happened in Spider-Man. You know, you let him go and he end up killing your granddad. But what if he's probably doing the same thing to another girl right now?
And that's why I like told my story, and then I was starting to get sued, so now I can't say anything about it. So,
but the thing is this though, if you're threatening to get sued, it's because it's probably you're probably not the first person.
Yeah, exactly. And like when I was trying to get like character witnesses and stuff, people didn't want to talk because, you know, they were getting intimidated and stuff, so I just can't talk about it to like protect everybody involved. But, you know, I can say that sometimes you got to move on and like make yourself full again and take that time to yourself, learn how to like move on and not let your past pain and trauma define you. And you did say that I should share my story, and I did try to share my story. I literally posted what happened on Instagram. I had to take it down after everything else. But with music, that's like my way of expressing things, and I could like use metaphors. I could use poetic ways of expressing my emotions, my frustrations, my trauma, my sadness. Nobody knows what I was going through. Nobody knows what I was hiding because I was always like busy in school and everything. I was doing dance. I was in the books. I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Nobody knows those nights I was crying or when I was like thinking about things. And a lot of women and females and everybody, even men, anybody that's going through things like that, they understand that there's a lot of battles that you fight by yourself. So I'm starting to put that in my music. That's why I started taking a music journey, to be able to express myself with that freedom, so I don't need to worry about somebody threatening to sue me and my family and everybody that supports me. I don't have to worry about a job or a school scholarship or some kind of other like hierarchy, like keeping tabs on me and like controlling what I can. We know y'all. Music is like how I.
We know y'all. The people out there in power that that will let something like that slide, and it's sad. It's sad to know that women are going through these things, and the authority would cover for people who have money, and that just to show you there's no really sense of, because again and that tells me everything I need to know, right? The person has power. We know what type of complexion they are because they was never arrested. And her being a young black woman, obviously she thinks the odds are going to be against her. So we do the math, right? We know most people on this show, and we do the math. But it's real sad. But at the end of the day, if you're going through it right now, like she's been through it and she's still going through it, I don't think it's something that you can ever really get over, because you said something too that was very important. You said, don't let circumstances from your past define you or something like that.
Yeah, you can't let your past pain and trauma define you. But I don't want people thinking that it was a white person. It was actually a black person in an NPHC organization that played sports in college and actually is in a place of power playing professional sports. So like it's not somebody that.
Oh shit, I was wrong, y'all. I was dead wrong.
But I just can't go into details and stuff.
Wow, that's
so you just can't put anything past anybody just because of like the title that they hold.
That's a fact. And I'm very sorry that you have to go through that. As far as like horror, what's coming up for you right now, like as far as music wise?
So right now I'm just taking the time to like really like stack up content for like my fans and everything out there. I want to be able to consistently like put out videos, put out music, and I want everyone to have a variety of my sounds, because there are a lot of aspects of my personality that I want to be like really emphasized in my music, and I'm still finding out how to do that in the most graceful and the most like creative way that I can. Okay. So right now I'm just like recording a lot of music, and I'm working on an EP that's going to be called Processing. And
Processing. Yeah. Why processing?
Just because I feel like the whole theme and main goal of the project is going to be for me to process my emotions, process things that have happened to me, process the relationships that I've gained, the relationships I've lost. It's literally going to take you through my whole mental state, where it's been, the highs, the lows, like all my experiences and everything. Like it's just going to capture all that and like how much I've grown, and also like empower and encourage other people. And everything that I've been talking about here today, like that's also going to be in my music, because like I said, that's the way that I'm expressing myself. Right. That's going to be like
the gateway.
Yeah, a way for me to be there for others and be the voice for others and everything. So,
processing. How soon do you think it's gonna be coming out? Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know when it's gonna be coming out because I've been like trying to learn how to give myself enough time to like pace myself and like let myself take my journey at the time that I need instead of like rushing myself. I feel like I've always rushed myself through life. I rushed through school. I rushed to get a job. I rushed to, you know, try to be like the best role model like for my sisters and my family and stuff, but like really I didn't pay attention to being the best of me like in the present and like loving myself in the present and stuff. So right now I'm just like taking the time to do that and like discover myself and discover the best way to put that in my music, and I'm like fine-tuning everything. I want the sound to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist, and I have a real passion for music, so I don't want to put just anything out there. I want my music to be an experience. I want it to be a story. I want it to be like support. I want it to be like more than just a drop every Friday. So that's why I'm taking the time to like make quality content. So when I do start dropping, I could be consistent and it could like be meaningful, because music means a lot to me, and I think it should mean a lot to everybody because music has power. So I want to take the time to put the best music out there that I can put out there. So right now working on processing.
Processing is in the process. And
I also am in the works of, I think I'm going to make an OnlyFans. But get this, it's not going to be for like the reason that like everybody is like getting OnlyFans now, right? It's not going to be for that, right? It's going to be for the original reason, because OnlyFans was actually created in order to allow like independent artists and independent you know, creatives to put their content out there and make money off of their own content, like from their fans, like literally. It wasn't supposed to be like a local porn site like it is now or anything. Not
it's turned to that.
Not shedding judgment on anyone that makes their money like that, because that ultimately that's how you make your money. That's what it's for. It's for people to put their content out there and make money from it. That's what it's for. But like I want to start an OnlyFans so that I could like put kind of like more risque like music videos and stuff like that out there. Because right now I have like a video out for COVID Cinderella, and it's kind of safe because the first video I made, it was like me in like lingerie in an Airbnb, like smoking and drinking Hennessy, but it was supposed to like represent me being like the queen that I am, being like the princess that I am, the aura that I am in my own space. And during that time, I was just enjoying myself doing the things that I like to do. I like to smoke and drink, so I showed myself smoking and drinking and twerking a little, because I like to twerk a little too. You know what I'm saying? But I can't like put that. I can't put that out there because I want respect. I don't want to be like a lot of female artists that feel like they have to sell the sex. Like I don't even want to sell my music. I just want to share my music. I just want to share my aura. I don't want to like have a certain image that's like, oh, well, we know Aura, she's going to have her ass out. She's going to be twerking and showing her body because that's what she needs to do to prove her worth and prove her music's worthy of being listened to. That's not what I want to do. I want to spread good vibes. So I put a certain side of me out to the public in like normal videos and stuff. I still show my creativity and everything, but it's not gonna be like the whole me, because the whole me a little freaky deaky. The whole me likes to twerk and drink and smoke, because sometimes you get the real life, sometimes you get the angel, you feel me? But you know, at the end of the day, I still want to have that content out there because it's a good video. Like I love the original video. That's a little risky. The clean videos on YouTube, but I think I'm gonna start the OnlyFans to have like the more risky video and like other versions of videos, like the uncut versions of music videos, and maybe like vlogs and stuff that could like be content that would be on my OnlyFans, so people could like pay for like access to that. And again, I'm waiting until I could drop consistent stuff, so it's gonna be so fire now. And I'm gonna have like, you know, I'm gonna incorporate like choreography and stuff in my videos and things like that, and you know, it's gonna be creative, risky, sexy, sweet, savage. You know, you don't know what you're gonna get. So you know, it's gonna be kind of like two sides of Aura. I feel like it's important to show all the sides of me while still like being able to hold a certain reputation, because I want people to know that I demand respect. I'm not an artist that you're gonna try to get a feature with and try to sleep with or whatever, that's gonna, you know, suck some for a deal on something. That's not me. Like, I'm putting in the work to just express myself in a creative, beautiful way, and I don't need anybody, like, you know, trying to morph that into me trying to be fast or a hoe or this and that and trying to like make my way around. That's not the point of this. Like, music's a powerful thing. Like I said, the whole point of putting myself out there isn't to put myself out there. It's to like,
there's a lot of things, like you said, people thinking
like
one thing and people thinking the other. And like you said, you always want to be yourself, but